Welcome everyone to today's session. My name is Emma Larwell and I'm an occupational therapist at Muscular Dystrophy Queensland. So as you can see, I'm part of a lovely allied health team here at MDQ. Last week we heard about pain and fatigue from Lynn Borgett, our lead physiotherapist, and she was assisted by Joe Nolan. So both pain and fatigue can impact your safety at home. So if you missed this talk, the recording's available on our website and you can have a look at that later. So today I'll touch on 4 topics about home safety. So firstly, I'm going to discuss the role of occupational therapists in helping people to maximize their safety at home. And then I'll talk about home safety generally, particularly focusing on the impact of the person's capabilities, the home environment, and the activities that people do at home. So these are called occupations. And I'll talk in detail about each of these as I go. Thirdly, I'm going to discuss safety with transfers and look at a few assistive technologies that can help with those. And then lastly, I'm going to talk about making decisions. So looking at the OT role, what is safe for one person in their environment is different to what's going to be safe for another person in a different home. So in the community, occupational therapists like myself rely on our clients to identify if they might be unsafe and to seek out our services. So today I'm going to talk about some things that can make homes unsafe and some strategies and assistive technologies to help improve home safety. So even though I'm going to talk through some strategies and technologies today, you'll benefit the most from seeking personalized recommendations from an OT, because OTs are trained to assess home safety and to make recommendations to reduce risk. And we've got some of those recommendations that we can make on the slide. So we can recommend strategies, as I said, to improve home safety. We can recommend and facilitate minor home modifications. We can recommend and apply for assistive technologies. And we can also refer to specialist OTs for major home modifications if that's needed, or we can refer to our physios to review mobility aids in the home as well. So moving on to home safety, we're firstly going to look at how the strengths and weaknesses of the person can impact safety and independence at home. So these are called person factors. So we're going to talk through a few, and the first one is mobility. So if someone is walking, their style and the way that they walk, as well as their balance, can impact their safety. If they're using a wheelchair, their control of this wheelchair can impact their safety at home as well. We've also got fatigue. So we talked about last week, both muscle fatigue and general tiredness. So if someone is tired, they would pay less attention to what they're doing, and they might be unable to do certain activities that they can normally do when they're not tired. We've also got fall history. So if someone has fallen and their circumstances haven't changed, it might be likely that they could fall again. We've also got muscle tone and strength, and this is particularly relevant to our neuromuscular population. So muscle weakness can affect safety, firstly with transfers, and it can also affect safety with using things with the arms. So for example, a razor or a kettle can be difficult or dangerous, particularly as we have got on the slide, we've got myotonia. So this is the involuntary activation of the muscle where the person might be unable to release. So that's what myotonia is, and if it's unpredictable, that can impact safety as well. So we've also got contractures, which is when the joint becomes particularly tight, meaning it can't fully extend, and this can also affect both arm use and walking as well. We've also got cognition. So this includes things like attention and concentration. So if someone has difficulty paying attention and concentrating on an activity for a period of time, that could affect their safety as well. It also includes things like planning, sequencing, and problem solving. So being able to respond to changes to make sure that the person's safe all the time. That can also be involved in cognition as well as memory. So we've got communication. So being able to communicate pain and fatigue, as well as any other needs that a person could have, that also affects their safety because it affects how much others are able to assist them. And we've also got height and weight. So a person's dimensions affect how hard the muscles have to work to hold their body weight as well. So those are person factors, and we'll chat about these a bit more in, when we talk about recommendations later as well. So now we've got environmental factors. So each home is set up differently, and a home that's not well set up to suit a person's needs can increase falls risk as well. However, if a home is well set up, that can also promote safety and enable independence and function as well. So we've got a really dramatic example here on this picture, and I know I'd be at risk of tripping and stubbing my toe quite a bit if this was my bedroom. So we've got a few trip hazards in this picture. So we've got toys on the ground and cords. We also have just a lot of general clutter with the furniture being quite close together. And we've got a few spills. We can see some slippery surfaces down on the floor there with the traffic cone as well. So you might think my house doesn't look anything like this. So I'm going to talk about some other more common hazards that you might have identified in your home. So these include things like stairs. So that could include a small step at the entrance or the exit of the home, or even things like a shower hob as well. Also, lips at the changes in flooring can be falls hazards as well, and that includes rugs. Also, things like slippery flooring, particularly in the bathroom, that is a common thing. And also poor lighting, which is often not considered, but if you have difficulty identifying and seeing things on the ground, then that could be a risk for tripping as well. There's also many other things that OTs will look at, but that's just a brief, broad strokes picture of the environment. So we've also got the occupation. So the demands of the activities we do every day can also affect safety and independence. So the demands of the activity are basically the things that you have to be able to do to complete the activity. And I'll go into detail about different examples. And these are called occupation factors. So we've got movements that you might have to do to complete an activity. So this could include movements with the arms or legs. It could include transfers. We're going to talk through the example of brushing teeth. So for brushing the teeth, you might have to bring the toothbrush up to the mouth and move it along each row of teeth, and then rinse the toothbrush before returning it. There's also postures, which could include things like standing or sitting postures, or bending or twisting. And it could also, so for brushing the teeth, this could be sitting or standing to do this, but it does require holding the arm up to the mouth for a period of time. We've also got force. So this, for different activities, will require different amounts of strength or being able to lift different weights to complete them. So for brushing the teeth, we've got, you have to have enough force to squeeze the toothpaste out of the container and enough grip strength to hold onto the brush and lift it. And we also have, and to have enough force to brush against the teeth to remove buildup as well. We also got time, so different activities take different amounts of time and energy as well. So brushing the teeth could take 2 minutes. And then frequency, which goes hand in hand with that. It depends, how often the task has to be completed. So for brushing the teeth, this might be once or twice a day. And then we've got the adaptability of the activity. So how adaptable is it? With brushing the teeth, could a different toothbrush make it easier? What about an electric toothbrush? things like a hand strap could be helpful to reduce the need to grip onto the brush. Would sitting for this, sitting down make it easier, or having a place to rest the elbow? So I do want to put a disclaimer for all of the things that I've just talked about. I have only just scratched the surface of occupational therapy, and the things that I've just done would be quite complex to do. And I wouldn't expect clients to assess their own person, environment, and occupation factors objectively, or to identify equipment and strategies and to support their safety of or independence. So that is the role of an OT, but generally, yeah, so that is what OT does, and my role would become a little obsolete if you're able to do this all by yourself. But yeah, it's helpful to have the information there. So we're going to talk through an example. So we've got Jane. She's had a fall in the shower and she's asked an OT to help improve her safety with showering. Jane loves to shower and she'd like to continue being as independent as possible with this. So we've got a person factor here. Jane has fatigue and she showers at the end of the day right before bed. So that's an example of a person factor which might affect safety. We've also got some environment factors. So the floor in Jane's bathroom becomes slippery when it's wet. And also the hard surfaces in the bathroom, like tiles and glass, can cause greater injury than soft surfaces if Jane has a fall. And we've also got some occupation factors there. So the hot water of the shower lowers Jane's blood pressure and makes her feel lightheaded and dizzy. And that's a natural demand of the activity of showering. It's normal to use a bit of hot water. So that's an example there. And also, showering requires lots of bending, twisting, turning. Sometimes you have to stand on one leg to reach and wash your foot or something like that. And that's also a natural demand of the activity. So Jane's experience here is not uncommon, and that's just because of the nature of bathrooms and having tiles and being slippery, and also requiring the person to reach around and wash their whole body and sometimes stand on one foot. So that's quite a naturally risky area of the home, which is why we're going to talk through some recommendations for Jane. So an OT could work with Jane to create a better fit between her abilities, the occupation of showering, and her bathroom environment. So the OT could suggest some strategies to do this. And this could include, showering in the morning when she's the most awake and alert, or also recommending that she takes a lukewarm shower rather than a hot shower to help manage her blood pressure. We've also got a few things that could make some changes to Jane's bathroom setup. So we've got up the top there a non-slip mat, and this could help with the slipperiness of the bathroom. We've also got here a handheld shower hose. So this could help Jane to reach different parts of her body while keeping her feet on the ground. And it is also really helpful if Jane chose to sit in the shower as well. So I've got a few different shower seating options. We've got a shower stool at the top, and then below that a bath transfer bench and a shower chair. So the one that will be best for you depends on, again, what your person factors are and also your environment as well. So we also have shower commodes. So these allow people to be wheeled into the shower, or some of them can let you push yourself if you're able to do that. And they can also be used over the toilet. And shower commodes are highly customizable depending on people's specific needs. And they can be a really great option to allow people to have a bit more independence and to continue showering as often as they'd like to, because showering can be a really important and enjoyable occupation. So yeah. So now I'm moving on to transfers. So transferring is moving from one surface to another surface, or it could be moving from sitting to standing. And some signs that Someone may benefit from having an occupational therapist or a physiotherapist to review their transfers if they're avoiding transferring as often as they normally would because of fatigue. If they can't use a particular part of their house, or they don't feel safe using that particular part, or even if they can't transfer off a chair in one of the rooms of their house, that's often a good indicator. Particularly if people shower less often than they'd like to because it's difficult or it's too tiring. If people need help to get out of bed some days as well, or if they feel unsure or worried about any of their transfers. So now I'm going to talk through a few entry-level assistive technologies which could benefit people with some of the problems that I just talked about. So the first one is a utility chair. These can be an entry-level aid because they can be customized to be the right height for someone to transfer off of, and they've got really sturdy support through the armrests, which can help with transfers. We've also got over toilet frames. So these are also an entry-level aid. They can raise the height of the toilet seat and provide some armrests for transfers as well. We've also got high-low beds. So these can help people to get out of bed by raising their upper body to help them sit on the edge of the bed, and then lifting the bed to reduce the difficulty with the transfer as well. We've also got lift recliners. So these can help people by electrically lifting them, and you can see that in the picture. And then we've got a toilet raiser. So similar to an over toilet frame, but this can provide a bit more adjustability by electrically lowering and lifting the seat. So some other options that I couldn't get pictures of are electric height adjustable office chairs. If you're interested in those, you could search up Vela and have a look, VELA. And another entry-level aid could be grab rails. These are also a minor home modification as well. So now I'm going to talk a bit about hoists. So hoists are transferring aids that a support worker or a family member can operate to facilitate with safe transfers. So some of the things that could indicate that a person would benefit from using a hoist is if they are above 25 kilos and are unable to contribute at least 50% of the effort required for the transfer when using any entry-level aids. So what I've just said, that's a very objective measure, but life is very subjective, as we know, and this will depend on the weight of the person that's transferring, as well as the strength of the person that's assisting them and how awkward the transfer is as well. So this also includes if someone's sometimes unable to contribute 50% of the effort because of pain or fatigue or illness. And another indicator is if the person or the family member or support worker that's assisting them feel unsafe with their transfers. So I'm going to talk through a few options for hoists. So we've got floor hoists for the first two pictures, and these have a variety of different yoke attachments and slings which can help, they might suit different clients for different purposes. So floor hoists are great options for clients that can't weight bear, and a ceiling hoist is also a potential option, particularly for clients that use hoists regularly and find this an easier method. Sorry, just getting a scratchy throat. I'll have a drink of water. So we've also got a standing hoist. So this can be a great option for clients that can weight bear. So in terms of hoists, I do want to acknowledge that this is a challenging step in the lives of many people with neuromuscular conditions. I do acknowledge that using a hoist is a big adjustment and may seem like a nuisance at the start. However, hoists are really great tools and can offer lots of choice and control and independence to our people. And part of my role as an OT is helping people transition to using hoists as enjoyably and efficiently and safely as possible. And I know last week some people mentioned an interest in the research. So the Institute of Safety, Compensation and Recovery Research has found that support workers and family members have less risk of injuring themselves and also less risk of causing serious injury when they use a hoist. And also the person that's transferring has been found to have increased confidence, comfort and independence with these transfers as well. So now we're on to our last topic, which is decision making. So you do have choice and control about the decisions that you make to promote safety in your home, and you may choose to accept a small level of risk as well. I do recommend that you take some time to evaluate the risks and benefits of your options. And just like any difficult decision, you might ask from someone who knows you well, and also for advice from someone with expertise like a therapist. You also might use a table or a decision-making matrix to weigh the pros and cons. For this, you might like to consider your physical health and safety, your psychological well-being, as well as the effects on those around you. So I've got a helpful link there, which has a few prompts to help evaluate decisions. But again, with this slide, I do want to acknowledge that making a change to your routine is challenging, and particularly if you haven't had time to prepare emotionally. So if you need support to adjust to a change, you can always ask your therapy team to support you with that as well. So we're wrapping it up now. So would you benefit from an OT? So there's a few prompts there on the slide, which I'll let you read through. And these can be indicators of crucial points where you might like to seek assistance from an OT. So I'll just let you read through. So to summarize, there's lots of options available to increase safety and independence. So please reach out to your OT if you need. We're here to support. Got a few resources here on the slide. So these are great websites which provide more information about some of the things I talked about today. Also, please connect with us if you would like to find out more. And yeah, you can use that phone number or that email address to ask questions if you don't get them in today, or if you're watching the recording. We've got some information about our services here. So we have some of our free services on the slide, which includes our NDIS access program, our info line, which can help answer questions that you have. Our Breathe Well, Rest Well, which is our cough assist loan program. We provide support through crisis as well, and some advocacy support. So those are our free services. And then we have quite a few services that we provide under NDIS as well. So those are on the screen. So next fortnight, we will hear from Lisa Harrison, one of our physiotherapists, about exercise for neuromuscular conditions. So we've got some of the things that she'll be talking about there on the slide. So rest versus exercise, how much is too much? It's a great topic, particularly considering fatigue. We've got the goal of exercise, which can be different for different clients, and also a bit of information about hydrotherapy, which is a great low impact, safe and fun form of exercise. So I've got some of my references there on the slide that I used to help prepare my presentation today. And we can do some questions.
Thanks, Emma. We've got one question from Dane here, and it is, let me just pull it up. What are your thoughts on in-home elevators between different levels or stories in the home? And are they quite narrow?
Okay. Yeah, I haven't actually done or looked at in-home elevators before. I suppose it would be dependent on, if it is suitable for you. I would generally recommend to a Complex Home Mods OT to support with that. So yeah, if it's something that you'd want to explore, yeah, I would definitely look at getting a Complex Home Mods OT for that.
And if anybody else got some questions, you can either try and type them in the chat box, or if you like, you can just come on off mute if you're comfortable in just sharing your question over the microphone. We'll just give you a few seconds to madly type in your question, but yeah, if not, we might give it a little bit of a wrap up soon, but we'll give you a few seconds in case it's a big long question and you're still typing.
Hi, it's Judith here. Can I just ask mine?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Thank you. So I've always wondered about taps, and I've been trying to get a bit of an answer. I'm assuming that getting some new taps and easier to use taps is not something that would be covered through the NDIS or consumables at all.
Oh, I definitely think you could get taps covered through NDIS if you're not able to use your current ones. That's something that I'm doing applications for clients at the moment.
And that would be like the installation and the new tap, or
Yeah.
Okay, but it would go through a normal like NDIS approval process, I'm assuming. So it could be.
It depends on its cost as to the process.
Okay, so you get like a quote from a plumber.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
And just ideas for, because my son is 7, so he's pretty early stages still, but doesn't always want to walk a long distance to wash his hands, and we haven't done much like actually giving him a bowl and washing on his lap or that kind of thing. But is that what people normally do sort of early on if they don't want to reach up for the tap?
I haven't seen that, but I'm also not sure. I could ask about that for you, and also just could explore together what different options are in terms of having something that's appropriate for his height or things like that.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, we can reach out to you, Judith, after this if you like, if to help get that info for you.
Yeah, thanks. That'd be great.
No worries. And we've got a question here from Sarah as well. The toilet lift that was pictured, what brand was that?
Oh, that's a good question. I had it on the slide. I've got a link to LiftSeat. I'll just put it in the chat here.
Yeah.
That's in the chat for you.
So liftseat.com. Excellent.
I'm not sure about the availability in Australia, but I've definitely seen quite a few clients that have similar looking razors. So happy to explore with you if you'd like.
And any other burning questions before we wrap it up?
It's Day again. So Emma, just for a question. Can you hear me at the moment?
Yes, I can. Hi.
Yep. Okay. So hi. So end of last year I had a fall and I broke 2 bones and a tendon in my leg. So I had surgery. So I've got some plates that remain permanent in my leg. So it's down the lower left leg. But had to use a wheelchair while I was recovering. So it took a few months. The hallways in my home are quite narrow, and wheelchairs seem to have the same width. So it was scratching the hallways and the doors. Are there any wheelchairs that are not as wide, or they're all standard one size?
So with the wheelchairs, they're often all have different sizes. I'm not sure whether yours would be a smaller size. Was it a manual or a power wheelchair?
It was a manual, and I got it through AdaCare.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not sure. I generally refer to our physiotherapists to
Okay.
prescribe wheelchairs, as that's their expertise here at at Muscular Dystrophy Queensland. So yeah, they definitely do have different sizes though. I'm not sure if
Okay.
yours is the narrowest or not, but yeah, definitely worth exploring.
And do the high-low beds tilt to the side or not, just up and down?
So the high-low beds,
can
they
they like tilt one way to ease this transfer off?
no, they don't usually do that. They do lift the feet and the head,
Yeah.
and usually just vertically as well.
Okay. Thank you.
Lots of good questions here. Is there anybody else? And what we can do is afterwards, you're very welcome to email us at info@mdq.org.au, and any questions that you send through there, we'll send on to the relevant staff member, whether it's a physiotherapist or an OT. So we're more than happy to take those questions by email, or if you give us a call. Any last questions? It might be easier to jump off mute if you've got them, instead of saving you having to type really quickly. Well, that might be it for today. Oh, we've got one last. Dane is just saying this session was very informative and related to me especially. Thank you for today's session. It's our pleasure, Dane. Thank you for coming along. But yes, thank you everybody for joining us today, and for Emma for presenting your knowledge. And again, as Emma mentioned, our next session is in a fortnight's time on exercise for people living with a neuromuscular condition. But thank you again for joining us, and we hope to see you at the next one. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, everybody. It was lovely to meet you.